Learn how to build a better sign and print shop from a few crusty sign guys who've made more mistakes than they care to admit. Conversations and advice on pricing, sales, marketing, workflow, growth, and more. You're listening to the Better Sign Shop Podcast with your hosts, Peter Kourounis, Michael Riley, and Bryant Gillespie.
Before we jump into the episode, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, GCI Digital Printing, grand format printer to the trade. GCI is not your average print shop. They pride themselves on providing you a fast, stress-free experience when outsourcing. Their no excuses mindset means no matter the job, they'll have it done every time. No other vendor will go to the lengths that GCI does to ensure you're a satisfied customer. To hear more about their approach to business, hop back into the archives to episode 9, where the guys and I interview owner TJ Bedacht about top-tier customer experience. If you're looking for a high-quality trade printer for banners, mesh, coroplast, and more, TJ and his crew will have your back. For jobs big or small, GCI does them all. Check them out at printgci.com. Hi guys, welcome back to the next episode of the Better Sign Shop Podcast. As always, I've got my co-host, the Sign Shop Yoda, Mr. Peter Kourounis. How are you, Pete?
Not sick anymore. That's good.
That's a plus, right? This is like the time of year that your kids are just like, they're like little sponges that soak up all the germs around them, and then they just transmit those to you. That's what happens to me.
Pretty much. Yeah, I walk around my house with a can of Lysol, spraying down like almost everything that they touch, everything that they put in their mouths, and it finally caught up to me a couple of weeks ago. Oh my God, dude. First of all, men, when they get like a cough, it's like, I want to get under the covers, under 7 layers of blankets. Like, I give my wife so much credit. She's been coughing for like 3 weeks, really struggling through, and she's not a whiner like me. Like when
Still does all the things.
Still does the laundry, cooks dinner every night, you know, God bless her. But for me, when I get sick, it's like, don't talk to me. I'm not doing a damn thing, going onto my bed, getting under my covers. So I've been healthy for the past 48 hours, which is good. It's been a steady diet of Halls and Dum Dum lollipops for the sore throat. And haven't really gotten much work done in the past 2 weeks because of it. So happy to finally be on the right path and getting in front of you again and enjoying these guests that we're going to be bringing on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that you're on the mend, man. I tell you, like, the challenge that I have now is not like sickness. My wife thought it was a good idea to get a dog, so we have a new dog in the house. It is a puppy, and I work from her name is Winnie Cooper. The girls,
like the show,
yeah. So the girls, Growing Pains, right? I think that's what it is. Was it Growing Pains or the Wonder Years?
Growing Pains
Wonder Years.
Yeah, the hot name. Sure.
I always get them mixed up. So like we got it around Halloween, and my girls, they dressed as the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus for Halloween. So they called the dog Winifred, and I was like, because that's one of the witches' names or something. I was like, well, if we're gonna call her Winnie, let's call her Winnie Cooper. So that's how we ended up there.
I was wondering if you changed the last name for whatever reason.
It is I haven't changed my last name, no. It's a tiny dog though. It's a Yorkie, so it's always underfoot. I'm like terrified I'm gonna step on it, and I've got somebody else that poops and pees in the floor.
Look at you, man. Look at you.
Yeah, great, love it. More responsibility is what I needed.
So who do we got going on here? What's the topic?
All right, so we have got an awesome guest today from Charlotte, North Carolina. I feel like we should have done like a Bulls intro. From Charlotte, North Carolina, number 23. No, I really enjoy the gentleman James. He is a great guy to talk to. Actually redid their website earlier this year. So that's how we first came into contact. As I got to learn more about their company, I was pretty impressed. They're not the average sign shop. There's a multifaceted. We'll get into some of that, but yeah, let's bring him on.
All right, let's do it.
All right, guys, welcome back with our special guest, James Neely of RP Signs in Charlotte, North Carolina. James, super nice to have you on the podcast. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah. So you and I have had several conversations before this. I was just telling Peter that we redid the website for you guys. Gary over there was my main contact, but really enjoyed the conversations that we had where you and your father were involved. And, I think you guys have a really cool story there at RP. Not the average side shop. A lot of different facets. You guys work with a lot of interesting clients.
Yeah.
Super excited to have you on. So for those who haven't had conversations with you, why don't you tell us a little more about yourself and RP Signs?
So I will eventually be third generation owner of the shop. Our sister company started in 1984. We are a division of them, Recognition Plus. They do corporate apparel, awards, etc. And then in '86 was the birth of the sign portion of our business. We started getting some calls from some doctors wanting nameplates for their desks. So at the time, my father was in law enforcement in South Carolina, so he moved up to Charlotte and decided to start this sign business, and it has done nothing but grow since '86 until now, and it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, well, I could say it. Like starting out, like I've seen some of the projects that you guys do, and it's a far cry from just nameplates now.
Yeah.
So hey, tell us about the shop. Like what kind of projects do you guys take on? How big are you? Give us the full scoop.
Yeah, so we have 19 people total on staff. We got 5 project managers, 2 graphic designers. We have 1 graphic designer that actually is going to work as a PM role as well, and he will support our one and only sales guy. We have never had salespeople before until this year. This is our first sales guy in 30 some odd years of business.
Wow.
We have roughly 20,000 square feet in Charlotte where we do some light fabrication. We do all of our ADA signage manufacturing in-house, flat cut letter sets, digital print, roll to roll, flatbed, and we just purchased a DCS printer that will allow us to do direct to substrate, tactile and braille signage. Right now we run the applique process here in the shop. We have one guy he runs 3 lasers.
Oh, wow.
And the braille machine, and he's a wizard. So we want to keep him around for a while.
Hey, like what type of clients do you guys work with?
A lot of healthcare, and that has kind of turned into a lot of property. Then that like helps us diversify into property managers, because a lot of times these healthcare facilities and clients that we have, they have different clinics in all kinds of different buildings. So then the people are like, oh, well, who are you using for signage? And then that kind of goes, well, we use RP. I'm sure they can help you out. So medical office buildings is another big specialty of ours. Full service interior, exterior signage, design, permitting, and fabrication. We've started breaking into the retail industry a little bit more here lately. Hasn't been a super big focus of ours for a long time, just because, we pride ourselves in knowing how the healthcare process works and taking the pain out of that for our clients, because really signage is the last thing they want to think about. They want to focus on building a cancer research building and not signs that go by a door. So we take that out of that for them and just say, listen, hand it over to us. We'll run stuff by you. We'll keep your brand, but just trust us and we'll deliver when we say we will.
Gotcha. And would you guys say that is like is that what makes you guys unique? Like, why do these folks work with RP?
Yeah, I really think it's the process.
And
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to put the screws to you or anything. It's just a question that Pete and I love to ask because we've asked so many owners and like leaders inside their companies of like, hey, where's the value? Like, why would people choose to
Right.
work with you? And you, I'm sure in Charlotte, you guys are in a super competitive market, right? So what's the
Yeah.
value proposition for you guys?
I mean, I know a lot of people use this as like a platform to jump off of, but really, like, if you come to us, our customer service is going to be what you come back for. Everybody can promise you and provide you a quality sign product, but if you come to us, we're going to take that process, we're going to make it as easy as possible for you, and we're going to be hands-on and guide you through that so you don't have to worry about what you'll get in the end. I feel like without that part, it doesn't make you any different than anybody else. There's a lot of guys will go jump on the big job and then leave them abandoned for a couple signs on the backside, and that's really where we pick up the slack. Is we promise to be there in the future for you. It's funny. Just this past week, we had a customer call us for a sign, an interior donor sign that we made for them in 2004. And we still had a piece of material in their customer box that we could provide the same exact material and the same exact sign as we did in 2004.
Wow. How did that material age? Like,
It's Corian, it's solid surface, so it's been protected
okay.
inside, so it is fine. Yep.
That's cool. That's cool. I remember the days of like reaching into the file cabinet from the jobs from 10 years ago, but we often didn't have material on hand from that long ago.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, you've kind of grown up in the business. All right, RP Signs is a family business. So you know, kind of walk us through, we've talked about the shop and the business. Like, walk us through your own individual journey inside the industry.
So my journey, like, I mean, I started as a kid. I would catch duct tape balls off an extension ladder from my dad putting up Gemini letters on the side of brick buildings. But then as I grew, I mean, I did the whole schooling, went through and decided college wasn't for me about 6 months into my college journey. And then so I was like,
why was that?
I just knew, I mean, I knew what I was going to do. Like, I just knew I'm going to be a sign guy. Like, I was always interested in it with my father. So I was like, I'm going to school, but I know I'm going to be a sign guy. So why can't I just start being a sign guy right now? So that was at 18 years old. So I started picking at 18 years old. We moved into a new building for the shop, and I was picking weeds off of a fence. And so I started at the ground, even though it's a family business, and then moved up through some manufacturing in the trophy area of the shop for the other side of the business, progressed into being an installer for our sign shop, moved to being a laser operator for a short time. Then after that, I moved as an assistant project manager and then started taking on some of the healthcare clients, and then moved through the project manager positions to where I am now as director of project management. So that's been 16 years. So I'm 35 now, so I'll have a lot of time in by the time I'm ready to call it quits. But I'm just excited about how I've had the opportunity to see it all and move up. I think it's going to be very valuable when the business is handed over at some point.
Sure. Was there ever a time like growing up, you were always 100% like, hey, I'm gonna be a sign guy? Like there was never a time of like, dude, if I have to go in and like help out in the shop and sweep the floor and like pick up and do all this stuff, like I'm just gonna go crazy. Like, hey, I got to get out and do something else.
Yeah, I can honestly say no. Like, I have always enjoyed being with my father. Like, I used to hang around with him all the time when I was little, and we would do everything together. So it never really bothered me, the thought of coming to this place every day for the rest of my career. I mean, I enjoy it. I soak up every minute of it and enjoy the people that I work with.
Wow.
What did you go to school for?
Short time business management.
You do a lot with a background in business management, right?
Yes,
Hey,
yes, you
hey,
could.
yeah. You could also run a podcast.
Yeah.
That's what I got into.
Different things with that.
And I'll tell you why, Pete. Like, I got in and I was like, hey, what am I going to do after college? I have no idea. So I business management, baby.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
go ahead, Pete.
yeah. If I want to kind of just make a couple of comments, maybe a question or two here. So you mentioned the size of your business, and that's a remarkably a lot of people would love to have a size operation the way that you do. You know, with project managers, a couple of designers. I would assume that the majority of your workers are in the production and project management side of things. But why don't you give us a little bit of insight as to the thought process behind why now with a salesperson? That was a major takeaway for me, is that why today, after all of the accomplishments that you have, are you theoretically bringing on a new arm of your business?
Yeah, Pete, that's a good question. I really take a look at that from a couple different viewpoints. Like I think, and I can honestly say, I think for 30 some years, we've taken for granted the fact that we have a referral network of just people's word of mouth from customer to customer to customer, just that business being there, and it's always been there. But as we all know, customers change, sometimes change a little bit. And I just felt like in order to not have all our eggs in one basket, to diversify with a salesperson, to bring in some of the work that maybe we wouldn't normally go after or get. Because I mean, it definitely helps add to revenue. And I just feel like having that extra stream coming in can kind of offset any fluctuations in like a word of mouth referral or a customer change, or just competition in the market. It's really fierce around Charlotte. There's a lot of different companies in the area, so we really have to differentiate ourselves from the others.
Okay. And you feel like this is a pathway forward to differentiate yourself?
Yeah, I mean, and just expand our offerings and maybe get us in front of people that we haven't been in front of before. It's it's not like it's going to solve a major issue, but I definitely think that it can help expand and get us out in different markets that we haven't really focused on or touched in the
What's going to be
past.
your process in your mind? You bring on this person. He's an ideal salesperson, maybe a little bit of knowledge in aspects of this industry. What's going to be your process by which to dispatch that person out into the market? Is it a self-reliant person to bring in business, or is there going to be more appointments being scheduled? You know, a rolling showcase? Or what's your process in how that person is going to differentiate and bring some awareness to the market?
Yeah, so I think he's gonna have sales material and stuff that he's gonna be able to take with him and like present to general contractors and different developers and real estate companies. And just getting somebody out there, just a face for us out into the market, because a lot of what we did, like I said, was just like referral stuff. So we kind of I mean, we got 5 project managers in our office. We manage our projects from here. We do go on client meetings like everybody else does, but like to see somebody like a recurring face out in the market visiting people and talking about signage and projects, I think it's just a different approach than we've had before. So I think that will kind of help ramp that up. And to get his feet wet, I'll go on sales meetings with him and kind of coach him along the way and get him up and running.
Okay. Are you guys like gonna put him on like a totally different industry, like outside of healthcare or property management, contractors, or is it like a double down on existing
No, it's really going to
markets?
be different market. I think what I would like to see, of course, when he gets up and running, a real focus on multifamily projects and developments. There's an article in July of this year that more than 80 people a day move to the Charlotte area.
Gotcha.
And I
80
mean, you
people a
can't
day. Well,
80 people a day. You can't turn a corner without seeing an apartment complex under construction. So I know there's more apartment complexes than our sign companies. So to capitalize on that market would be fantastic.
Charlotte's one of my favorite cities in the country. For those that know me, I visit frequently to the Charlotte area. So, what part of the Charlotte market are you guys servicing?
I mean, gosh, we cover on a daily basis anywhere from, yeah, Fort Mill, South Carolina, which is just into South Carolina from Charlotte. And then we'll go up to Hickory and Morganton area towards the mountains.
Wow,
Um, yeah, and go to Raleigh
no kidding.
couple times a month. So
Wow,
we're our
you're
guys stay on the road pretty well.
yeah. I mean that you could be on hours on 485 just between Fort Mill and
Yep.
Morgan, Hickory, and
Yeah.
we're up there on the north side. I mean, gosh, that's I I've been in that traffic, and I don't recommend it to anybody. But that's something that's a very large organization and a very large area of which you're covering, especially when you're venturing off to the east and going into the Raleigh market. I would assume you're going into Greensboro as well.
Yep. Greensboro, Cary, Chapel Hill. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
we're pushing.
gosh.
I mean, we'll send our guys to anywhere in the state. I mean, it doesn't really bother us, and we've positioned ourselves. I feel like, well, naturally being in Charlotte, we can cover the whole southeast. I've got a client that is going through an expansion, and we've gone to Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia for them. So we can run the whole corridor if you need us to.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's amazing to hear. That's a very large service area. So that's I guess you have the means to take on that kind of work because I could certainly see a lot of downtime in travel if you're not charging for those types of leads. So let's get back to the point here. I was just curious because I wanted to kind of get a picture of what size your business is and what your service area is. But it does kind of sound like you're taking over the entire Charlotte market, maybe even into the South Carolina border there a little bit too. So, okay. Now, you've been in this business now for what I think you called it what generations? Is that correct? Did I use the right term?
Yeah, so my grandfather's first generation owner. My mom is now owner majority, so then it'll be me and my sister after this.
After this. Okay, so the business is in your family's name, right? Right. It's been you guys have been in this market for a long time. A lot of the businesses know maybe your mom or maybe your grandfather before her, and you guys are doing a lot of business. Now, the thought here is that you're bringing on this salesperson, right? And you have a little bit of a plan for the type of customer that you want and the approach by which you want to go after that type of client. But
Sure.
is that your only new business acquisition strategy, or are there others that you're also planning around?
Right now, that's the focus. That's our big focus is to get some kind of sales structure up and running. I think for a long time, like I said, we've taken for granted the fact that business has kind of just come to us organically, and we've earned the business through providing for other people. But I think at some point you have to stop resting on those laurels and move to a more aggressive strategy, which I thought a salesperson was the logical first step, and then we kind of see how that business development takes place, and we can venture off from there to other avenues.
Yeah,
Okay.
very interesting. Like you guys work with, like primarily like the healthcare systems, right? I know like a ton of owners that we talk to would die to be in good with the healthcare systems because as
Yeah.
depending on the products you sell, steady stream of work.
Oh yeah.
I would say, there's probably some budget conscious elements there, but for the most part, probably not. More concerned about like timelines and actually getting like deadlines and project delivery more so than budget. So you're not holding up like a new wing of the hospital waiting on the signage.
Right.
But hey, like how, yeah, hey, like you said, you mentioned you take those for granted. How did you guys originally get into that market? Do you know? Like, is
Well,
that
yeah,
something that's
so
always been there, like since you were young, or?
yeah, so our first shop was actually right across the street from the biggest hospital in Charlotte. So that's how naturally they came over and were like, "Hey, I need a nameplate." So that we literally could walk across the street and be at the front door of the hospital, and we would deliver the products because we were so close. So, and other guys wouldn't do that. So, I mean, we were like, "Hey, we'll bring it to you. We'll across the street and we'll be right there for you, and we'll give it to you." And that kind of was the foundation of that relationship, just the personal connection. And then we kind of just took it to the next level, and that's how it started. And I mean, at first they would ask us for illuminated signage. We didn't even know what that was at one point, and we would say, "Yeah, we'll take care of it." And then we came back and we figured it out.
True sign, guys. Hey, we need this. Do you guys do that?
Yes.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We'll figure
Absolutely.
it out, guys.
Yep.
I think a lot of our listeners would laugh or chuckle if they're driving in their cars or if they're listening on their phones or whatever. They would look and be like, "I've done that a million times." So you're not alone. I've done that. I know Bryant's done that, and I know many of our clients have also done
I still do that sometimes, man.
yeah, I'll figure it out. Sure. Yeah, it's really good stuff. Really good stuff. I like that you go after your type of clientele, but you've been doing it for so long, right? So tell us a little bit about before the salesperson, what the approach has been like. What's been the
This is what I want to get into. What's the secret sauce, man?
What's your secret? How do you last this long with 3 generations or almost 3 generations and live in a world without a salesperson? What is your trick? What is it?
Yeah. I mean, I hate to name drop here, but I kind of think of us like a Chick-fil-A of sign companies. I mean, it's like it's our people. It's the way we pour into our people. We develop them to treat our customers the way that we always have. We ask them to buy in to our level of care, our commitment to our customers, and just really just buy into the system. Like we're here to make money, yes, but we really want to take care of people. And I just feel like other people look for that in a place to work. It's not just like a carousel of people running through here. The majority of our people have been with us for over 12 to 15 years. We've even got some people that have been here the whole 36 years. So I think it's the way we are intentional with our people and just ask them to care for our customers the way that we always have, and they buy into that system.
Could you give us like a specific, like, does a specific example or a specific story come to mind?
Not.
I'm sure you've got one or two.
Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It really just like, I mean, we were doing a project for a healthcare organization here in Charlotte. They were opening a medical school, and they came to us 4 weeks before the medical school opened and said, "Hey, we need designs, we need designs, we need approvals, we need signs on the outside of this building before they have the ribbon cutting in 4 weeks." And back then we had one graphics guy, and that was Gary back then. He was on vacation. So then I guess my father, out of desperation, reached out to Gary on vacation, was like, "Dude, can you please do me some drawings? We've got to take care of this for the customer." And Gary did his drawings, and he made it happen. They approved it, manufactured and installed by the ribbon cutting in the 4 weeks. And it was a high-rise install.
Yeah, if that's not a sign guy job.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll do that for anybody. Like, I mean, within reason, of course. We don't like sell, "Hey, we're going to do everything for you quick." Like, that's just not
This was
we
this was an existing client that you
Yes, it
already
was
had
an
a
existing
relationship with.
client that we had a relationship with, but that's just how we care for our customers, and we strive to develop those relationships with everybody. And I guess that's why we hadn't focused on like a lot of retail signage in the past, is because that relationship kind of, you go to somebody in a strip mall, you sell them a sign, and then you kind of move on, and that hasn't been the way we operated, so that wasn't really like a focus. But I'd like to bring that level of relationship to that sign experience.
Yeah. What is so you guys do a ton of ADA. There's a lot of smaller shop owners that we talk to that was like a mystery box of like hey, I know this could be a good avenue for us, but hey, like I don't know much about it. Like how should I get into it? Do I even want to get into it? Like
Right.
what do those projects look like for you guys?
I mean, they're a lot of our projects are full packages. Like, so it'll be a new office building, and we go from design conception all the way through the manufacturing process. So we'll sit down with designers and work through their finish plans and come up with a couple sign types and drawings for them to approve. And then, I mean, we've got people in place that know the regulations, the processes, and it just is really seamless for us because we've been doing it for so long. A lot of It's intimidating to a lot of people, just because there's so many nuances to the ADA guides and just compliance issues. There's also a decent amount of equipment that's involved with doing it, but we've even gotten to the point to where we have become a wholesale source for some other companies to provide them ADA signs because they want to bring that revenue stream in, but don't have any way to do it. So they turn to us and know that we'll just take care of them, and we provide it to them.
Gotcha. So like you actually have like a wholesale to the trade
Yeah.
wing or arm as well. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. We're huge advocates of outsourcing stuff that you don't bring value to the table on, or that's not necessarily your specialty.
Sure.
But like, when do clients bring you into those projects? Is it
I mean,
typically at the end? Is it like, hey, 4 weeks? Like, here's the building. Like, we're finishing construction now. We need signs for everything, or is it like sooner in the process? Like, who are you working with, like
a lot of
inside the client's organization?
Yeah, a lot of times we're like in their organization, we're working with their development people. So when they have something on the horizon, they'll reach out and just say, "Hey, we've got this project coming up. Keep it on your radar. I'll reach out when timing's more appropriate for these activities." But really, and we've worked with these same architects and in construction companies before, so it's kind of like, "Hey, we need to engage RP because we're going to need signage down the road." So we do have customers that keep us in mind early in the process, which is nice. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be a ball dropped every now and again, and us have to come in on the backside and make something happen. But yeah, we've tried to educate our customers and how long the process takes so that they're aware of that and they can build that into their schedules.
Gotcha. And like you mentioned this other project was like 4 weeks, but like start to finish, like what is it, like the average ADA project kind of run for you
Um,
guys?
I mean, if you're looking like around 100 ADA signs, I mean, we could probably push that out in about 15 business days is what is like average. But I mean, the bigger the project, the longer we can get is always better, of course. But like if you need just like a suite sign insert or something for a medical office building, our average lead time for that's like 5 to 7 business days, and we'll get it installed or shipped out.
Gotcha. And like, can we ask numbers? Like, what do you guys do sales wise?
So our best year, which was a year ago, was 5 million.
Okay.
Um, it fluctuates based on. I mean, that was a good year based on a really long rebranding campaign that we had embarked on. So it fluctuates based on what's happening in the in the healthcare industry and just across the board. But yeah, I mean, I on average between 3 and 5 million is a year for us.
Gotcha. That's pretty solid. I know a
Yeah.
ton of shops that we talk to would love to be at 3 to 5 million. Like, what is the rough profitability on ADA signage? Is it is it worth the squeeze, or like at the end of the day, like are there like you guys get done with the average project? Do you look back and you're like, this is a win for the client? Obviously, it was a win for us as a business, though.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that it's a profitable section of our business. It but you're offering a service that's very unique that a lot of public organizations can't function without. I mean, you can't get inspections without ADA signs. So there's a level of have to with ADA signage that if you bring that to the table, then we can help you succeed as well. And it doesn't hurt that we'll design something to tie in with your building and make it look elegant, and it's not just your standard Home Depot black and white restroom sign stuck on the wall.
Yeah, got it. What was I going to ask? Like the ADA stuff is definitely very interesting to me, just because like back in the old days when I ran the shop, we didn't do ADA signage, and for me it was like I see this, I know people who are doing it, like what's actually involved, but like for you guys, it's probably like more than the actual production. It's like a service offering more than just like the signage, right?
Yeah. I mean, we'll take your plans, we'll tell you what you need, where you need it. So it's a consultative approach as well as an educational approach, saying, and then we kind of weave in the wayfinding with the ADA packages. So it all starts as the customer is the starting point. How can we educate our customers and let them know this is a service we offer, this how it can help you, and we'll take care of it for you. So we go from design to creation. So I mean nothing we don't do.
Where does estimating like come into the process?
So right after, typically we throw out like a handful of designs to the customer based on their like a finish schedule for a facility that they're moving into, and then we generate some ideas and kind of have them narrow those down. And then once we provide, they have a concept that they like, then we kind of give them a price per unit. And then if they see that price and need to value engineer, then we can kind of back out some different things to help that process for them. But we don't, yeah. So we kind of give them design first before we can provide budgets.
Gotcha. Yeah. I imagine like it, depending on like the number of layers of materials you're using and placement, size, all of that goes into it.
Yeah, I mean, people come to me and go, "Hey, can you give me a price on an 8x10 sign?" Well, yeah, but I mean, what do you like? There's a million different things.
I do. It doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
So like everything is quoted per sign. Do you guys have like project management fees and like installations tacked on top of that, or it's like, hey, that's part of what we provide? It's like, hey, you need 100 of these signs for $150 a sign or whatever. We'll design, manage, install, do all of that.
Yeah, so we break all that out. So that on our like proposals to our customers, it's all broken out. Typically, like if we go through design and the customer approves the project we go through, it's kind of like just we consider that part of the process. So it's not a line item on their quote. We just consider that cost of business with that portion. But install, yeah, we'll look at drive time. We separate all that out based on location of the customer, how many signs, difficulty of mounting the signs depending on what they are. So yeah, but if we do like strictly on consultation, like if an architect calls us and says, "Hey, we need you to develop a sign package," of course we charge for all that. There is a fee for our time for that, even if we don't manufacture the package.
Gotcha. Yeah, and to me that seems like almost like the most valuable part of the process, right? Is the knowledge you guys bring to the table.
Yeah. That
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, just to let somebody know that, listen, this may be daunting to you, but if you partner with us on this, we can walk you through the whole thing, and we'll make it as simple as possible.
It's kind of like the accountant thing, right? Like I know the
Yes.
basics of finance, but like do I want to put my own knowledge on the line that I don't get audited by the IRS or have some other consequences? I definitely don't.
Yeah, if I take over, first thing I'm doing is hiring full scale accountant to do every bit of every bit of information I got.
uh, hey, so what's a like? We've had people on the podcast that like have grown up in family businesses. They work with their wives, type of thing. Like, what is it? What's it like working in a family business? Like, do you have disagreements with your mom and your dad? Is your grandpa still in the business?
My grandpa
Like,
is
what's
retired.
what's the dynamic?
So grandfather's retired. My mom focuses on the award side of the business. Like she's over that sector of the business. So my father runs the signage part. So working with him, it's been fun, but it's also been hard. He and I don't see eye to eye on next steps a lot of times, like hiring a sales guy per se. um,
Okay.
but I thought it was important enough, and I pestered the piss out of him enough to where he was finally like, all right, we'll give this a try. Like let's do this thing, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, my sister's a senior project manager here. So I mean, we all work well together. We definitely have our disagreements, but there's also non-family people here, so we kind of keep those disagreements behind a closed door, so nobody nobody needs to worry about their job.
So it's not super awkward. Like, what is it like
Yeah.
at Thanksgiving dinner with the family? Like, do you guys try to turn like the business side of it off, or is it like a lot of folks where it's just like we talk signage all day, every day?
Man,
Yeah.
you took the words right out. With like Christmas right around the corner, I kind of want to know what like Christmas dinner is gonna feel like with you guys. Like, do you talk shop? Do you argue about projects? Like how long that took? You got to carve the turkey now.
Yeah. Yeah. So Thanksgiving, we get together with my grandfather and grandmother, and he's the one who started the business, so he likes to talk about it because he's not really around that much anymore. Christmas, if we try to talk about it, we're mostly at my mother and father's house. So my mom will be like, "Y'all need to stop talking about business right now. We got this is we're closed for a reason." So we try to shut it off as much as possible, but it's a disease that we all suffer from, and that's signs 24/7. So
Okay, got it. Hey, like, have you already like you discussed transition plans or things like that, or you're not at that stage yet?
not at that stage yet, but it's never too early for a plan to start. That's actually one of my next steps on my list is like, hey, let's round up everybody that needs to talk about this and let's start working on a plan. Because, I mean, as you guys know, the years just speed by. So before long, it'll be time, and we need to have a plan and be ready for that.
Yeah, I think that's a like the transition or like handing down. We've got a lot of folks in our community that are nearing retirement age, and like so is the kids want nothing to do with the business, right? And at that point, it's like, what do we do? You know, like I always just
Hmm.
assumed I was going to hand this down to the kids, and you know, it's kind of a sticky situation. And
Right.
then there's other folks like that are in your position where like you're coming up, you're going to take over the business, and the not so distant future, like managing that transition, I can imagine is, I like if you don't do it well, it's very detrimental to your own
Yeah.
health, mental health, and to the business as well. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
do you guys like what's the average age of like all your employees now, or like are you guys? Do you have a lot of
Um,
employees nearing retirement age as well, or
no, not really. I mean, we've got a good mix of young and seasoned, I'll say. I mean, we've got probably a handful that are close to retirement, but we definitely have some younger people that'll Lord willing continue to work here, even up through the transition point in 8 or 10 years. I think
sure?
we've kind of positioned ourselves well in that respect to where we've kind of balanced our workforce to where we wouldn't be totally without,
Yeah. Well, just in general, I think that's a concern of mine. As like we all get older, and the industry is like if you've been in the industry, you can't get away from it, right? But how
Right.
do we attract new people that are willing to invest the time necessary to actually do the job to the level it requires, right? It's not like you
Yeah,
can bring anybody off the street and within 3 weeks have them up and running and actually producing ADA signage or managing a project, right? It's just not
sure.
possible.
Sure. And especially too, like somebody told me a stat the other day was by 2028, 52% of the workforce is going to be Gen Z. And that scares me to death. Like, because you just don't know what you're going to get. I mean,
Right.
do you want to work? Well, if you want to work, do you want to work in a sign shop? Do you want to get in a crane truck? Do you want to, I mean, I, I was born into a sign business pretty much, and I didn't even really think about signs for half of my career, like growing up. Like I was just like, I didn't really think about it until I was immersed in it. So, I mean, people drive by signs every day, and it's like almost like they don't exist, until they need it.
Yeah. Right. And now it's like you drive by and you're like, "Hey, honey, like we did that one, we did this one."
Yep. And she's like, enough already.
Exactly. Well, like we've covered a lot. Like, we've already touched on like what it's like inside the business. We looking at my notes here, like inside the market. I, you know, One question that I do have is like, you mentioned getting the people to buy into the business and to like the ethos, but like that's one thing, right? But keeping somebody around 20 plus years is like a totally different thing, especially in today's climate. Like,
Sure.
is there any advice you could give to somebody else? Because like one of the biggest challenges, if you ask anybody inside like the Better Sign Shop community, like the Facebook group we have for owners, I can't find good help. I can't keep good help. Like, how have you guys managed to keep people around for 15, 20 years? Is it, hey, you pay more than most? I feel like there's more to it than that, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And there's always somebody too that's going to offer more money than you, just because if they find, like, if they're after people, they're going to be like, oh, I'll throw more money at them. But I mean, really, like, because the people we have, that's the reason we can do what we do. I just, I don't, I don't know how to word it without saying the same thing over and over again, but I just, like, our people are important to us. Like, we want to take care of them like they are our family. And I think that creates an environment that makes them comfortable working here, and they stick around for it. It's not, I mean, it's not for lack of there's mistakes that are made, and we cross those bridges when we get to them with whoever it is. But we're not going to, we understand mistakes happen. We're not going to beat you over the head about it. We treat people how we want to be treated. I mean, it just boils down to that simple thing for me. It's just getting the people on our team that have the same kind of value and outlook that we do, that can make us function together and continue to provide good service to our customers.
So, like, if I'm hearing you, it's like, just to parrot it back to you, is it basically the culture that you guys have instilled at the
Yeah,
company?
I think culture is a big thing, and just being honest, just doing what we say we're going to do with our customers, and if a mistake's made, own up to it and fix it, and then that will make you look look great as well. The way you respond to adversity, as opposed to like kicking it under the rug or just disappearing.
Talk about your culture for just a quick second. Um, I love that you said that, and I love that you recognize that it's a major component to your success. Um, but is your team full of members that buy in, or are there a couple of bad eggs that you have to work through and massage around?
Right now, at this time, we have the most solid team that we've had in our history. We had some people leave not too long ago. Well, it's been a while now, but it was a little resistant to that and just didn't really fit in that we're kind of not the communicative type to foster that team environment, and it was kind of like walking on eggshells around a couple of them, but they're no longer here. But I feel like now we've set up a team to where everybody feels a part of the team and wants to be a part of that team.
Yeah. You mentioned communication. Like, do you guys have any like specific protocols or like anything? Like, are you doing like one-on-one meetings with your project managers? Do you guys have like team meetings? Like,
Yeah.
kind of what's
So
the dynamic there?
yeah, that's a good question. So I do one-on-one meetings with every project manager and the two designers the first Monday of every month to kind of get the state of the union of what they're like working on. But my door is always open, and they know they can come to me whenever they have a question and see that. And in production, we have a daily stand up that is at 3 o'clock before shift is over at 3:30 for our in-house production team. We kind of go through what was accomplished, what orders may be coming up that they need to know about, and what kind of installs we're setting up for the next day, so our installers know what they're going to go out and do in the morning, because they roll out between 7:15 7:30 in the morning. So we like to have that time at the end of the previous day to kind of let them know what they're up to.
Gotcha. On those one-on-ones, like what do you guys focus on?
I try to give them the most time to talk. Like, just if they want to talk about their family, talk about your family. If you and then we'll talk about project rundown, and kind of get just a status of what they're working on. And if they can take more work, they let me know that, and I can take projects that come in and send them to them. And it's just kind of like a feedback kind of area. Like, hey, are they struggling with something that they need my help with, or if they just need more detail on a project, or need a project to follow up when they're about to finish.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear you say that, man. Like, one-on-ones for me when I was managing a team, the most effective thing that I had in my arsenal as a manager was like building that relationship with the team and just giving space. Like, hey, if they wanted to talk about their family or what they've got going on, that's fine. Like, you've got 15, 20 minutes, and then like we'll take the next 15, 20 minutes to talk about work in the future and what's coming up. But so many people that I talk to overlook that. I was like, I think that's like a really strong foundation for like the culture and like your people. You got to have that relationship, right? Because that's the capital that everybody's operating from inside the shop,
Yep.
right? If you've
Yeah.
got that relationship, you could come to somebody and say, "Hey, I, you know, this one didn't go really well. Like, there were some mistakes that were made. I'm not worried. I trust you. Like, I know next time it will be different, right?"
Right. Yeah, I think that's the important thing, is like that, just building that foundation with our people on our team is like, listen, we care about you, not only because you work here and you're part of the team, but like, how is stuff outside of the shop? Can we help you move? Like, are you moving? Do we need to send a van over there to help you if you're in a bind, or something? I mean, it's just whatever we can do for our people to make their work life and their life easier. We'll do our best.
Awesome. James, any other advice? Like, you've got kind of a soapbox here. Is there any topics or anything you'd like to share with the audience? You know,
Big thing for me is just do what you say. I mean, I think that's the one of the biggest things, is like, if you're gonna promise something to somebody, make sure you follow through on it. Just because not only should you be doing that, but that as a business person, that'll take you far and beyond what just saying I can provide you a good product will take you. Um, and just being there for your customers and ready to answer the call when they need your help, whether it be a long lead time or in a pinch. Just show up for them, fight for them if they need to be. I mean, if they're running into a tough situation, you can add your expertise to the situation and help guide them.
Like, yeah, I feel like that's 80%. Just showing up and doing what you say you're going to do.
Yep.
It's difficult though, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you have so many different customers that you want to give that same attention to. Sometimes they do, others suffer, but you got to be prepared to pick up that ball and run with it.
Awesome. We've talked about like you're hiring the sales rep already, but we asked this to everybody. What's the future for you? What's the future for the business? What do you see happening in the industry? That's always an interesting one as well.
Yeah, I'd love to see how I mean, I know people are real hot on AI right now, but like future of the industry, how is AI going to play into just signage in general? Like, I'm just super interested to see that. I've never really considered that part of like our business, but it can be filtered in wherever. But next steps for us is like a business. I really want to see the sales guy flourish and being able to measure that success, to see him go out there and pick up different markets. I'm excited for that, but then also to see how, like, when we start developing our transition plan, what that looks like 10 years from now. Because I'm trying to, like, as director of project management, I have my own team and projects, but I want to start working on the business as well and building that for when the transition occurs, as opposed to just working in the business all the way up to it and then like quitting cold turkey. Because that really would establish the transition.
Right. Yeah, it's a major challenge for a lot of folks that we talk to, like getting out of that mindset of like, hey, I'm knee deep in projects all day versus like, what is the strategy side of it? What's the future for the business? Where do we need to point things to go the right direction? Pete, any closing shots? Any final questions for James before we let him go?
There's a couple of shots.
Pop.
I deserved it probably.
Listen, I think you've got a really great organization going on here. I love that your people on your team, you're breathing integrity, honesty. Being men and women of high integrity is a big part of establishing that baseline culture. But one of the things that are for me that culture as a whole, if we're looking at the C word. I know people like to throw it around very loosely, and they think that they have a culture, and they think that the way that they do things is the way that their culture is. But to me, I break culture down into 4 key areas. Okay. So the first is, I call it the best culture. So that's an acronym for B is becoming better. So my first question, and let me get through it here for just a quick second, is becoming better. What are you doing to, as an organization, at the ownership level, at the employee level, what are your employees doing to become better? Okay. The second piece is exceeding the expectations, which I think you've talked a lot about here, that you have your own foundational ways of taking what a traditional experience is for a customer and really going above and beyond that. So there's another foundational pillar that I look at and say, wow, this guy's really got it going on. The next is providing superior service. So that's your product, not the way you talk to your client. That's your product. So I would assume that you guys all have to buy into a great product that you're distributing. And then doing so as a team. Okay, so the last part of best is doing it as with teamwork. So what cultural elements are you bringing to become better and to improve your bond as a team?
Yeah, I think something for us now to become better is embracing new technology, just and educating our team on that new technology, and what we can different offerings that we can give to our customers. Like I said, we purchased that new direct color systems ADA printer, I think is really going to kind of revolutionize and has the ADA game. It just provides so many more opportunities of different signage that you can offer to client bases. So, and leadership, just taking those steps to be open to that, because I know there's a lot of companies with leadership, they're kind of stuck in the ways that things used to be done, and it's just like we're going to live and die by weeding vinyl and applying it to an aluminum panel, as opposed to doing a flatbed print or stuff like that. So I think just having leadership that's willing to listen to steps we need to take to improve our game and kind of still keep ourselves at the top of the scale as far as sign companies.
And if they don't listen, then you just aggravate the piss out of them, as I heard you say.
Yep, and then they do
it. It's strange how effective that is. That's how it works for me at home, anyway.
Yeah, and I think too, like in it being the person I'm talking to most about is my father, because I pretty much report to him, so it's kind of like, hey, listen, I've said this about 6 times. I really think we should do this. Okay, fine. All right, we'll look at it, kind of thing. So when he finds something that I'm passionate about and I won't let it die, he understands it. Let's take a serious look at this and just see how it could benefit the organization and our team overall.
Yeah, no, that's great. James, man, this has been a great conversation. I knew it would be a good one. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having you on, man. Everybody can find you guys at rpsigns.net. You know, are you, if anybody reaches out, are you open to chatting to other owners that may be listening?
Yeah, absolutely. If just any questions in general, ADA signage questions, if you want us to help you make some signs and ship them to your shop, we'll do that too. Whatever anybody wants to talk about, I'm open. I've really tried to do that and expand myself in that way, like moving more into leadership is just being available for people when they need to talk. What doesn't matter really what it is, but we'll be glad to help.
Yeah. So, like, if you're listening, you're looking for like a wholesale provider for ADA signage. James has stated that they do wholesale work. And if you're like me and you have no clue about it, I'm sure they would be willing to lend some time to educate you and help you sell that as well. So awesome, James. Super glad to have you on, man. I appreciate you joining. Hopefully we can come back and do this again sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bryant. See you, Pete.
Right. See you, James.
All right. So we wrapped the conversation with James. Pete, should we get into rapid fire takeaways, man? I really enjoyed the conversation. I think for me, there's like a few things, but I'm going to hit you.
Yeah.
What's your
all right.
rapid fire takeaways, man?
So first and foremost, I think it's great for our listeners to know that there are seasoned shops out there that have been doing this for a very long time without an outside sales force. And that even a seasoned shop like that, that specialize in a specific type of
$5 million without a sales rep, right?
yeah, that's mind blowing to me. I mean, I would think that, I've been around 5, 6, 10, $12 million sign businesses that have large accounts like they do. They have large accounts, but they're only getting those large accounts because of an outside sales force. I've never heard of somebody reaching that kind of plateau without having somebody be the face of the business. Somebody that's
out beating the drum, man.
Yeah, that's remarkable. But I do think that is the exception to the rule still. It was important for us to get him on here to talk through like how your $5 million approach is very similar to a lot of sign shops approach. And he's going to have some, I don't doubt it. I think he's going to have some struggles finding that right candidate like we all do. I hope that, but I am confident that they have the infrastructure in place. They talked about culture, so I'm confident that they have the culture in place, that person will be able to be retained. and they're not going to have like an endless revolving door of shop salespeople coming in and out of his business, and allowing it for it to be a struggle. He's got a good foundation, a good amount of um, knowledge, a good amount of support. I think that there's a lot of room for shadowing and being out and in the shop, and meeting with the designers and the project managers and whomever else he's got working there, so that that person can have a little bit more of a holistic understanding of what everybody does and their role in the business. If you're a sign shop that's listening out there and you have 5 people working for you, it can be chaotic. On the other side of that fence is a non-chaotic shop that has structure. It has people in the right seats. It has systems. It has processes. It has the onboarding steps to bring on employees like this. And I think today you heard of a large shop owner who has that dialed in.
Yeah. I think the number one thing for me that I heard and picked up on, well, I'll say 2 things, right? You already touched on culture, and I think we've beat that one really well. It's so important, so important. But like the tactical piece that James mentioned was like the one-on-ones with his project managers, of just setting aside the time to actually work on that relationship. In a small shop, like if you're the owner, you've got 5 people working for you. That's the hypothetical that we're dealing with. You still have to make time for people to build. You got to build those relationships with your team, so that there's that's a critical component of the culture as well. It's like, hey, yeah, you hear it from like guys in the military all the time. Like, I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with somebody. I know they're going to get the job done, no matter what. And when you have that relationship with the team and leadership, the things that you can do, you could get to 5 million without a sales rep, right? You can like under promise, over deliver every single time. You can deliver an impossible project in 4 weeks for a client who just threw their hands up and said, oops, like, hey, we totally forgot about the signage portion of this new development. We need you guys to come through for us. So to me, that was like the more tactical piece that I see a lot of owners skip over. Have one-on-ones with your people. Hey, when you bring somebody new on, you do tend to spend more time with them. You let them shadow, you give them space, but past a certain point, a lot of folks just throw them to the fire. Like, take the time, set aside the time to focus on their growth. Like, how do you bring them up in the organization, right? That person that you hired for a production assistant probably doesn't want to stay production assistant forever, right? Take the time to talk to them about their goals for the future. How can you help them grow? And I think ultimately that's part of how you keep people around long term in this day and age where people seem to come and go. It's impossible to find good help. All that stuff we hear every single day.
Right on, man.
Boom. Anything else? I don't think there's anything left to say. That's it, guys. If you are interested in networking with other shop owners, you are a shop owner or leadership, join our Facebook group. It is completely free for shop owners. It is a small group. We only allow owners and leadership into the group, so there are not 12,000 people. It is a safe space for you to chat about these specific things: pricing, employees, management. De-stress a little bit. What was the one I saw the other day? Did I mess up by buying a side shop? Or was I crazy for buying a side shop? The first response was, yeah, just a little north of batshit crazy for doing that. So
Hey, I like that last question that you asked in our group, where it was like, how much money should you have in the bank? And I'm like, oh, that stemmed a ton of conversation. I thought that was a great question. So if you're interested in joining and getting insights to questions like that and seeing what other shops are doing and how they're doing it, this is the group for you.
And if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, hit us up at hey@bettersignshop.com. All right,
Sounds
roll
good.
credits. So that's the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to give one final shout out to our sponsor, GCI Digital Printing, grand format printer to the trade. GCI is not your average print shop. They pride themselves on providing you a fast, stress-free experience when outsourcing. Their no excuses mindset means no matter the job, they'll have it done every time. No other vendor will go to the lengths that GCI does to ensure you're a satisfied customer. To hear more about their approach to business, hop back into the archives to episode 9, where the guys and I interview owner TJ Bedacht about top-tier customer experience. If you're looking for a high-quality trade printer for banners, mesh, coroplast, and more, TJ and his crew will have small, GCI does them all. Check them out at printgci.com.
If you liked this episode, make sure you hit subscribe to get all the latest episodes and check out our website, bettersignshop.com. Get free resources and helpful tools on growing your shop. Thanks for listening.